Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Flaps 121 Simulations. You know, it's a beautiful day today. I was just looking outside. I'm like, why don't we just go flying? Let's go flying, man. And yes, today I decided to initiate a flight. We are flying out of New Orleans, Louisiana to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And yes, we are taking our folks, our guests, to Fort Lauderdale. The temperatures are absolutely amazing over there, and they want to go to the beach. They want to go and have a good time, right? I'm like, why don't we take them over there safely, right? So we do not have much time. I want to take a look at what's the current time right now. So in the current time right now is 17:36 Zulu. We are supposed to depart out of here 18:00 Z. So we don't have much time. Let's go ahead and take care of everything and see where we are at as far as the flight plan and all that good stuff is concerned. So I am on SimBrief right now. I generated a flight plan on SimBrief. Let's just run through it right quick. And right now the flight plan we are expected to have 14.8 at the gate, and our required mean takeoff fuel is 13.4. We will take more fuel. I am taking, let's just go 15.5. So we're taking 15.5. I think that is going to be absolutely good because Fort Lauderdale is known for thunderstorms that just pop up from nowhere, you know. We are expected to take runway 11, runway 11, and expected to land runway 10 left, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Looking good on that part. Let's take a look at the weather. Again, we are using Aviation Weather Center weather. New Orleans is looking good with 180 at 8 knots, test touch miles, broken at 2,800, broken at 3,300, overcast at 25,000, temperature is 28, dew point is 22, and the QNH is 2993. Wind trend looks good. I don't think we need a takeoff 48. As always, a beautiful 10 and clear day to be able to fly out of New Orleans. As far as Fort Lauderdale, we will talk about that. We're expecting to see I mean, there'll be thunderstorms. They've seen it over there in, as of now, light rain. So the runways over there are wet. But we will talk about that when we get en route. Do we need a destination alternate? No, we don't. But however, again, we are taking extra fuel just in case we need an alternate, and we will be able to input data prior to approach and then be able to go to alternate if we cannot get into Fort Lauderdale. Looking good on that part as well. So we're in the flight deck right now. The aircraft has already been given power, but without further ado, let's go ahead and start the APU here. We'll start the APU immediately. While we're waiting for that, ground power supply here. Ground control, ERAS, CVR. I mean, we'll do CVR test now, right? CVR test, and then we'll erase that. We'll initiate ideas. IR1 goes on. While that is doing that, fire test engine number 1. We're not wasting time. Fire test engine number 2. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen again and again. Yeah, there we go. APU fire test, cargo smoke test, and we are looking good on that side. Let's go ahead and the emergency exit lights and the no smoking signs go to auto. Initiate IR2. Temperatures, we're going to bring them down here. This is going to be fun because we are going to fly over the Gulf of Mexico. And yes, I'm expecting to see beautiful scenery. Probably we should be able to see beautiful scenery, or prior to approach, it's beautiful scenery because you see land. Okay, we'll initiate IR3 and we'll jump in the MCDU immediately. We'll go to R2, AOC menu, and as always, I'm importing data from SimBrief. AOC menu init. We will request that. Double check data with JetBlue 1420 departing New Orleans to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Estimated time en route is 1 hour 26 minutes. Looking good. Just double check everything else, making sure everything is looking good. That's what I wanted to say. I think, I don't know. All right, request init. Double check New Orleans, Fort Lauderdale, and we are going with the cost index of 40, and final cruise altitude is 350. that is looking good on that side. We'll wait for the zero fuel weight. We are not inputting that yet. Let's go ahead, instead of flight plan here, let me take a look at the flight plan. I didn't talk about that with you guys. Matter of fact, let me bring this page up here so you guys can see what we are shooting at here. So we're going direct to Blavins, and we're taking the Yankee 290 to Baca, direct to Bell, and then we're taking the Tiki-1 arrival into Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I think I did discuss with you guys runways that we're taking. We're expected to take runway 11 out of New Orleans and expected to land runway 10 left, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So that is our route. I want to put it somewhere where I can see it on my next screen here. I'll scroll back and forth, but let me have it right there. So departure runway 11 is right here. We will insert that because there's no standard instrument departure out of here, so we'll go direct to Bavins, and then for Lauderdale arrival, we're taking the Tiki-1, expecting runway 10. Was it 10 left? Did I say 10 left? I don't want to make a mistake here. Yes, it is 10 left. So we're doing ILS runway 10, runway 10 left. Brain farting over here, and we are taking the Tiki-1. I think that's what. Yeah, so scroll up. There we go. We're taking the Tiki-1 right here, and that seems to wait for us. Let's go to the flight plan one more time, and we already do have a discontinuity here. I'm going to go ahead and clear that off. Clear the scratch pad first. Clear and take that off. Scroll down, and we don't have any more discontinuities. Everything else looks good. Now that we have done that, let's go to the perf page. I think we are not I think we're going with flaps 1 flex 50 V1 122 123 127. That is looking good. We'll go back to the init page here. Zero fuel weight 102.0. I think we're going with default here again, but you know what, we don't have time, so we're just gonna go with that. 102.0 and CG of 25.0. That's fine. We'll go with that. Block, we said we were taking 15.5, so go 15.5 on the block. I know why. I think we'll come back to this. Now I know what's going on here. Let's go to the init page here. No, I think I know what is wrong with our zero fuel weight here. We'll go to weight and balance. Yes, that's the reason why we're going with 15.500. We'll input that. Taxi fuel looks good, trip fuel looks good, and we will load fuel, and we'll also request OFP. Go back to the next page here. This is the reason why, because we forgot to input packs. We forgot to input data as far as that is concerned. Let's go ahead and send, and we're taking 169 souls. Payload looks good. Zero fuel at 140.739. That looks good. That is what I was looking for. And then our zero fuel at CG is 22.9. We need to keep an eye on that. I'll go ahead. We already did that. Let's go ahead and start boarding. And now we're boarding, and now we can go back to the perf page, and let's just do it again. See what it's going to give us now. Okay, they changed. So 121 to 123. Okay, that's fine. We will go with that. That's absolutely fine. There we go. 108.4 with CG of 34.5. That looks better now, because I was like, something is not right here. So I'm hoping that looks good. Let's go ahead and input all the other data. What is the time, by the way? We have to watch our time. We're trying to... Okay, it's 17:45. Oh, we really don't have time. That's fine. We might be pushing out of here a little bit late. Not bad, but we gotta take our time to make sure everything else is right. Let's... let's look at something here right quick. Stand by one, guys. Bear with me for a second here. While while we're waiting for that, while you guys are waiting for me to try to figure out my situation over here, let's do something here right quick. All right. Why are my windows not moving? Okay, there we go. All right, so QNH is 29992. We did input that. That looks good.
Golf Hotel or Sierra 2 Hotel? Just Sierra 2 Hotel.
Verify bottom line is also good.
If golf is your turn for you, you can make golf and hotel. Either way works for me. This is fine. We'll go Sierra 2 Hotel. That's fine. 637, heading
constraints.
270 to final, clear visual approach, 18 right, contact lakefront tower, 118.95.
To approach, 18 right tower, 1895,
Getting the lights.
Sierra 642, Sierra Roman on the approach, known altimeter 2992, ATIS Victor at Homa, visual approach 18. Dolphin Sierra.
Sierra 20, American 1450.
Checking the FP, making sure things are good. So I'm just we've done this, but I'm just trying to make sure we expedite departure here. So that's the reason why I'm double checking, make sure everything else is good. And let's see, let's go back to the chat here for a second.
Delta 22, 37, 1.5 for 4,000 runway heading.
Delta 22, 37 on approach, over to contact, climb maintain, 15,000, turn left heading 040.
Left 040 up to 15,000, Delta 2237.
All right, so in the chat, apparently there are no seats, so we're gonna go with top altitude of 5,000 out of here. Matter of fact, let's go with top 10. We're gonna go with top altitude of 10 just to be on the safe side. And that will wait for us. Come on, Windows. Trying to drag here. Windows are taking forever. Okay, so we do have that. Let's go ahead and yeah, we did not start our APU. Let's start our APU here. Time is running fast. We do have fuel on board. Let's go ahead and switch those pumps on.
Bonanza Watch Sierra, Roger, IFR cancellation received, ready service terminated, change to advisory approved, have a good day.
And 2 NC, I'll see you. Do a Fox Bay, ready contact, a mile east of the Hammond Airport, climb maintain 4,000.
All right, we have APU. Let's see. Cruise supply of
Fox, climb maintain 10,000 and C direct Birmingham.
we'll like the flight deck.
237, contact Houston Center, 126.8. Have a good day.
237, get it.
Easy 040 on the approach, Intercoastal airspace, runway heading, release for departure, release void, 10 minutes.
Hey, Charlie, trap on the information whiskey.
Information whiskey current at the Homa Airport, Homa altimeter 2992.
Alright guys, just double check and make sure everything else is okay. I think we should be good. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed on, external power goes off, and beacon light goes on. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is let's go ahead and do the briefing. We're gonna stop this. Let's do a briefing. So we are taking out of runway 11 out of New Orleans, dry runway, no expected ground delay programs or any of that nature, none. We don't have a standard instrument departure here, but we are going direct to Bivins. We're taking the Yankee 290 to Baca direct to Borough, and then we're taking the Tiki 1 arrival into Fort Lauderdale. Looking good, looking good. As of now, we are still right on time. So I thought we were going to be late, and did expedite setting up the aircraft, and you don't have to worry about that. There's so many videos, of course, on how to set up this aircraft. Of course, I'm following reward scenarios here. So what I'll do is, if you guys want me to do a tutorial, I can do tutorials, which I know there's so many tutorials out there, but I can do my tutorial to show you guys how to initiate the aircraft. But I did expedite, and these things happen in real life when you don't really have much time to turn the aircraft around, right? So that's exactly what we did, but you just want to cross check, make sure that you have everything else right. So as of now, I'm going to we'll continue the briefing. So after that, as usual, before V1 will about take off, we'll exit active runway, and we will talk to air traffic control, let them know our situation, take the aircraft back to the gate, or attempt takeoff if maintenance tells us that it is okay for us to take off. We'll get a deferral and we will go. We do not have MEL's minimum equipment list on board, and we do not have CDL's configuration deviation list on board. We are a clean configured aircraft. So I will be the pilot flying, you will be the pilot monitoring. After V1, we're going airborne. We will assess the situation again and follow the procedures. Come back and land, exit active runway. If we are able to do so, let the traffic control know, talk to maintenance, and we will solve things from that point on. But as far as of now, builds in the vicinity, we have to watch out for that at all cost. Beautiful weather. We don't have a takeoff alternate. We are not expect to have a destination alternate, but weather could change at any given point in time. As we all know, weather is unpredictable, but we expect it to have smooth sailing. Are you happy, guys? Are you excited? I am excited. All right, did we forget something? Let's just touch up on things that we might have forgotten here. Let's see. As far as runway 1, it's a long solid concrete 10,104. Really beautiful dry solid runway. And yeah, apart from that, I think we are ready to go. Are you guys ready? Let's double check, make sure everything is okay. We do have APA, everything else is on, ground power is disconnected, beacon is on, and everything else looks good. Let's do it before start checklist all the way. Before start checklist all the way, maintenance log until on board and check. Cockpit preparation is complete. Gear pins or covers removed. Signs are on and auto. I have to double check that one. Yeah, seatbelt sign need to go on now. signs are on and auto ideas are enough. Fuel 13.4 is required. We have 15.5 on board. Altimeters 299 Set EFP has been checked. Windows, doors and slides are closed and armed. The beacon is on. Thrust reverse and idle. Pack brake is on. Transponder is let's take a look at that right quick before we wrap this up. We should put this in order. Okay, so transponder is in auto. Before takeoff checklist all the way is completed, we are ready to push out of here. Let's do the pushback, guys, and get out of here. All right, the updated this, right? So it might not wake. Okay, so I guess we're gonna use this. Of course, it's gonna tell us we're not clear for takeoff, but I'll go ahead and just use this. Let's just do that. Ground service, New Orleans ground, pushback.
New Orleans ground, JetBlue 320 requesting pushback. JetBlue 320 pushback request accepted.
I don't think that's. I don't know. Was that our cosine? All right, I don't know what the algorithms are doing, but we're good. At least they're calling us JetBlue, so we are fine. All right, guys, brakes are released. You're clear to push. Let us know when we can start them up. Alright guys, let's start engine number one. Matter of fact, we will request stop right here. I think that's sufficient enough. Request pushback stop.
New Orleans ground, JetBlue 320 requesting the end of pushback. JetBlue 320 request to end pushback received.
Alright guys, brakes are set. You're clear to disconnect. Have a good day. See you next time. Take care. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start number one here. Engine mode select goes to normal. We'll crank up U, number one. A2 rising, and let's not forget to start the block time here. N1 rising, and we have exhaust gas temperature. That means the engine is good. It's not just keeping fuel and not lighting up, right? So we are looking good on number one. Brighten these guys up so we can see. All right, let's go ahead and crack up number two into rising. N1. And we have EGT. We are looking great on that one. So we are taxing. Taxing. We didn't even talk about that really. So we are back at Charlie. What is our taxing here? So we are taking we're taking echo all the way at hot short runway 11. So we are taking echo all the way at hot short runway 11. That's our taxi instructions. Not long of a taxi, so looks good. Alright, we have two good engines. Engine mode selector goes to normal. We arm the spurs. We're going flaps 1. Let's do the reset here. And trim was 24.3. Right there, that will wake. Let's just double check, make sure everything else is okay. We're going TA. And APU off, APU master switch, APU bleed. We are going taxi on and runway 10 off lights all in. Alright guys, after start checklist, engine anti-ice is off, yellow electric pump is off, radar trim is set to 0 after start checklist is completed. Alright, I'm ready guys, I'm ready, let's go. Brakes are released, we are out of here. Alright, we take shortcuts up here. We're not even playing. Alright. Clear left, clear right. Alright guys, we're gonna do flight controls check. So we will do flight controls, full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, and radar, full left, full right, neutral, and flight controls check are completed. Alright, we are going Tara, T-A-R-A, where the radar goes on. Come on, man, we gotta watch outside. Don't mess with me. Okay, where the radar goes on. Auto brakes, max. Advise cabin crew, we are ready to get out of here. Oh, did I press that? Yeah.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
And we're gonna do system status check here and takeoff config check, and we are looking good. Bye New Orleans, we'll see you next time. We'll be coming back here. All right, before takeoff, checklist all the way. Gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch stream is 24.3 cg is set. V1, VR, V2 flakes. We have let's see. We have 121, 122, 126 flakes, 50 set. Flaps config 1 plus F is set. Flight instruments checked. Flight controls checked. ICA memo, takeoff all green. Let's slow down here. We'll probably stop right here. Takeoff all green. ICAM status checked. PWS checked. Cabin tickers code CTARA. Cabin crew has been advised. Min brief is complete. Takeoff runway we can confirm right there. Runway 11 is confirmed. Fuel we said was let's double check that prior to takeoff. Fuel is 13.4 required. We have 15.3 on board. Engine mode selectors and normal bleed packs. As said before, takeoff checklist all the way is completed. Let's continue, guys. Let's get out of here. Clear on the approach over there. Don't see anybody else coming apart from the semi-truck. Some other cars. Alright, we will line up and wait for clearance to take off right now, and we just got that. Let's go. Lights, camera, action. I hate when that zooms anyway. I have to just set up everything else. Alright guys, I think we are ready. Are you guys ready? Everything else looks good. We're gonna go 50% N1. I see 50 man flakes. Take off runway auto thrust blue. That's man flakes SRS runway auto thrust blue. 80 knots thrust is set. Neutral by 100. V1 rotate. Woo! Positive rate, gear goes up. We are airborne, guys. We are out of New Orleans. Later, New Orleans. We'll see you next time. We are out. Oh, look at that. That looks really beautiful. Sweet. We'll take views after we get flakes. Lever. Alright, we'll go lever climb. New Orleans is beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful. Right, let's concentrate and see where we are at. Okay, we're gonna go flaps up. Speed has been checked, flaps are up. You see, that's the reason why I was so taken away with the views. And you know, I want to retract flaps on schedule, but we are good. We did not overspeed. So now we are going to go to our final cruise 350. Let's go 350. All right, 35 blue. We're climbing a little bit slower here. We are heavy. Want to increase the range and see where we are going. There's New Orleans down there. You can see the, what do they call this? Is it the Superdome? The dome? You can see it to our left over there. All right, we had we had restrictions. I think that's why we're climbing a little bit slower. Now I think we're right on profile. So we are looking good. We have 35 blue. Everything is looking good. And we are going to do, this is supposed to be done silently by the first officer, but we will do after takeoff checklist. So landing gear is up, flaps have been retracted, bleed packs set, APU is off, after takeoff checklist is completed, guys. Yeah, I'm excited. We have a whole lot to talk about. We have time. Let's take a look at the flight here. Go to plan. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have time to talk about stuff. So for now, let's just make sure the aircraft is performing well. We don't have any issues. Once we get to altitude, I have really good stories for you guys. So thank you for being part of the Flaps 121 simulations again. And again, I cannot stress this enough that my goal for all this is just to put a light to aviation, which a lot of people have done already. But I think my story will probably help somebody else to get into aviation. We are at 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and get the landing lights off here. Wing lights go off as well. Would the flight attendants let them know they could get off their seat. Now we're gonna go all chord. We're going all in, man. We're going for Lauderdale. It's hard over there. Look at that. By the Louisiana bayous. I love to watch the shows, man. Like these guys are crazy. I mean, my books. I mean, they wrestle with alligators. There's this New Orleans again. I did talk about New Orleans in my flight from Atlanta, Georgia to New Orleans. Go check that out. It's a really good flight. I think we had fun doing that. So yeah, I mean, New Orleans as a culture, that just fascinates me, you know. And again, we cannot forget the cuisine. But yeah, so let's get back in the flight deck and see what is going on here. Let's wait for transition, and after transition, I'll go get coffee. And when I come back, I think we guys will talk all things flight dispatch for those of you who want to become flight dispatchers. We did really good, actually. I thought we were going to be a little bit late getting out of the gate because there's so much stuff to input as far as data, flight data is concerned. But we did a good we did expedite, like inputting data, making sure things are taken care of, going through checklists, cross-checking, and scanning instruments, make sure everything else is right way it's supposed to be at. So we were good at doing that. You always have to keep an eye out. Even if you didn't do something, just double cross-check prior to you diving into the next step, right? Always be safe. Safety is always emphasized in aviation, #1 priority. So yeah, you always have to take that into consideration. But yeah, Welcome, 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 Flaps 121 simulations. Let's see what can we see over here. Ah, yeah, look at that. It's beauty. Let's wait for transition so we can take a look at outside. Okay guys, we're passing transition altitude now. We are 2992 sitting. We were still at 2992. Double check, cross check, make sure A4 side is also 2992. So we are looking good on that part. Look at that, man. Just look how beautiful that is. Look at the swamps and just beautiful. A friend like blue, a friend like blue. Alright guys, I'll leave it here for a second. I will be right back. It's coffee time, and after that we have a good conversation. I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. I have my cup of coffee, and I hope you guys are enjoying the beautiful view up here. My goodness, that looks good. But let's jump into the flight deck and make sure things are performing okay, and we are looking good. We're smooth sailing right now, so I will turn the seatbelt sign on, and we won't talk to our guests as of now, but we'll talk to them once we get to altitude. So yeah, guys, my previous flight that I did was San Francisco to Las Vegas, and we were talking about all things flight dispatch, and I didn't have enough time to be able to talk about it all, and I don't think I'll ever have enough time to talk about the flight dispatch world, right? Because there is a whole lot of things that go on. So I didn't plan this, I didn't write anything else. I'm just going to say things from my heart, and I don't want you to be scared at all. By no means I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm trying to bring you guys in, because this is a very, very great career for you to have, right? So we did talk a lot about flight dispatch, but yeah, there's a lot involved in flight dispatch. I always talk about situation awareness is number one priority. Like when you go, so flight dispatchers, they work in a building called the OCC, which is the Operations Control Center, or the SOC, which is the Systems Operations Control, right? Differs, but it's pretty much the same thing, because you have tools that allow you to create flight plan, to talk to flight crews that are en route or on the ground, and be able to have a bird's eye view as to what is going on in the aviation world that day, right? So you go to work, you get yourself familiarized with the weather, and you might take a pass down from another dispatcher who's leaving, and that dispatcher is going to explain to you the flights that dispatcher is passing to you, for you to take over control and flight follow those flights, monitor those flights, and initiate flights and terminate flights, or conducting flights. I don't know if I'm using the right term here, but so you do that, you get familiar, and then after that you have an ample time, and sometimes it's not a long time, it's not a lot. Like you might have 25 minutes before you start cutting paperwork, meaning you start dispatching and releasing flights paperwork to the flight crew, right? So when you get familiar with the weather, where the weather is, you already know today is going to be one of those days where it's going to be either hectic or it's going to be a fun day, because it's just a thin and clear day all over the United States, because that's where I am, that's where I dispatch flights. And not only that, I also dispatch flights to South America, right? So you get yourself familiar with weather, and then you get yourself relax, get your cup of coffee or whatever beverage that you would prefer, and then you start cutting paperwork, right? So there's so many things when it comes to paperwork, flight dispatch paperwork, right? The paperwork that you're creating is you're creating paperwork to give to the crew. So you are pretty much a pilot, but you don't have a pilot license, because your dispatch license is pretty much is the same thing the pilot have. The only difference is the pilot the pilot license is pilot, the dispatch license is dispatch, right? So we always say that you're a sitting down pilot who's not actually flying the actual aircraft. So anyway, so you do start planning your flight plan. Let's say you have a flight that is leaving. Let's just give an example. This one, right? You're leaving New Orleans going to Fort Lauderdale. So what do? First of all, you have dispatch flight plan software, and that software tells you everything that is going on with that flight. So it's going to tell you what time the flight is supposed to leave. It's going to tell you what are the issues with the aircraft, which in this case is minimum equipment list, the short-term called MELs, or configuration deviation list. They are called CDLs, right? CDLs mostly affect the plane a lot, because these are things that are missing, like maybe outside the aircraft, landing gear cover, or something that is going to affect the aerodynamics of the aircraft, right? So there are penalties that you have to consider. So you have to go to your manuals and your CDL manual, and then be able to find that MEL if you have one on your on that airplane. Find that MEL, see what penalties you need, and some of them that you don't need penalties, but there's certain penalties that will affect the weight of the aircraft. So that means it reduces the amount of passengers or the amount of fuel that you can take, or just the payload, right? It reduces that. So after that, you look at you now know you have a CDO and MEL, and you look at weather. What is the weather at your departure station? Is the weather okay? Are the runways contaminated? The runways dry? Are they good? What are the no terms that we have at this airport that are going to restrict us from taking out of this station, right? What are the obstacles within the aerodrome that are going to affect the crew? You have to be aware of all that stuff. Weather-wise, do I need to take off alternate? If the weather at your departure station is below landing minimums, then if it's west, it's fog and all that stuff, it's like pretty much crazy weather where it's hard for you to see. I'm not going to go into details to explain how you calculate all that, but so just you will learn that when you come to become a dispatcher someday, one day, right? But then, so if you do need a takeoff alternate, you have to designate a takeoff alternate. But depending on company specific, company operating procedures or airliners differ, right? So the certain areas, the certain companies that will give you a certain distance from the airport that you're leaving, that a takeoff alternate should be within this range. We don't want the takeoff alternate to go off this range, right? Why do you need a takeoff alternate? Because if the crew blows up an engine or loses an engine or they go engine flame out at takeoff or any issues that they have, and if the weather is bad at the station where you're living, you don't want them to come back over there. You want them to go and land somewhere where it's safe, right? All that is said, this is just how can I explain this? I'm expediting explaining this because it's a lot, but you will get to understand that once you become a flight dispatcher. Okay, now you have looked at the NOTAMs for that destination, you've looked at the weather, you've looked at all the obstacles, and weather will impact you a lot. And I always emphasize the fact that weather is your best friend and also your worst enemy, right? Because weather could have ground delay programs. So you push an aircraft out and the aircraft stays out there trying to take off, but air traffic control says, nope, you need to stop. You don't have your slot yet, so you're not taking off. And now they're burning fuel over there, and now they have extended their estimated time of departure. Now they have to come back to the gate, and sometimes the crew times out and they have to deplane the passengers. So you see how it affects the passengers, and passengers are mad, pissed off, and dispatch, you have to deal with all that. If they have to go back, then you have to create another flight plan. You have to give them an amendment to give them new departure time to comply with DOT and comply with all the regulations, right? Regs. So that's just a snip of what happens prior to departure. If you are lucky, you take off, then you have to worry about en route weather. What is the weather? Where is the weather at? Is the route that I've created going to take the crew towards weather? If so, how can I avoid that weather, right? And you have to have all those plans prior to sending paperwork to the crew. And so en route, you'll be constantly talking to the crew. If there's weather ahead, the crew have an onboard weather radar system that scans, right, says echoes, and then they bounce back, comes back to them, let them know where the storms are at. But it's not full, it's not advanced as the systems that you have as a dispatcher in the OCC or the SOC. So you have to be able to talk to crew using what is called ACAS. It's an addressing system that we use to be able to talk to flights. So you have to be able to let them know, hey, Captain, there's weather 100 nautical miles ahead, and there's information that you need to give them. You cannot just tell them there's weather 100 miles ahead and then that's it. No. Usually, the way I do it is you have to have a terminology, in aviation, the terminologies that we use. So you have to create one that is giving the crew all the information that you need them to have, but brief, not way too long. You don't want to have a whole AC sending that to the crew, because you have to think about this, right? They are talking to a traffic control. They are worried about whether they probably were on a ground delay program prior to departure, and there's probably a ground delay program at destination. So crew gets stressed out as well. So you want to be brief on your information. So I would say something like this, right? Let's just take a look so you guys don't get bored. Matter of fact, what we can do is this. Let's do this. Let's go back to the external camera for a second. Let's just watch that and watch the sunset. So, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. I think it was better inside, but So how you talk to the crew is, for me, the crew, as far as weather is concerned, they want to know where the weather is at. So you have to give them point where the weather is at what altitude is it at, and mostly they want to know the maximum altitude. So we call them tops, right? The maximum tops, and usually we shorten that to max stops, right? Max stops. They want to know that. They want to know the tracking, where the weather is coming from and where is it going. So is it west, north, south, or east, right? And then you also have to give them the speed at which the weather is moving, and then you also have to tell them how hazardous is the weather. Is it convective weather? Does it have hailstorms? Like, you don't want to take the aircraft over there because, safety is number one priority. Again, you want to make sure our passengers are safe, crew is safe, and the aircraft is safe, right? So you don't want to take them towards thunderstorms. So the way I say it is, Captain, this weather 80 nautical miles ahead, max stops at flight level 350, tracking east at 25 knots with convective activity, and I think we should avoid that weather at all costs. And but mostly it's like you're saying, so weather is 80 nautical miles away over Bravo, let's just say 80 nautical away over Brava, maximum tops at flight level 350, tracking east at 25 knots with convective activity, right? So the crew, should your anchors back, it's okay, what are the recommendations that you can give us? Say, I think we should deviate 5 miles east or west or south, or depending on where the weather is, right? 5 miles south, and then we'll after that we'll go back and maintain our assigned route, right? So now the crew know that, okay, dispatch is watching out and is giving us information, and now we are aware where the weather is, right? Sometimes there's no way of avoiding weather, and air traffic control sometimes just take flights towards weather. Really, they do a good job, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's just like, you are kidding me, why are you taking this aircraft towards thunderstorms, right? So you want to be, you are pretty much the eyes. You want to play air traffic control as well, because you're working in conjunction with air traffic control to tell crew. If you can ask air traffic control to give to change your route and take you direct to this point, and then after that we're going to go back to our assigned route and go ahead. And crew will send that to air traffic control. True indeed, you'll see air traffic control will give him that, and you'll see the flight plan change on the map. You're like, good. So we're good. So you are aware of in route hazards. You're aware of everything else that is going on. As far as destination, let's go back inside. I don't know if you guys can hear me well here. I know it's beautiful here. Oh, look at that. This looks beautiful. But as far as destination weather, same thing. You have to look at destination weather. You have to look at the current surface analysis at the destination and the forecast, which is called the TAF, right? So you have to look at both of those. The time that you're arriving over there, what is the weather going to be like? What is the weather trend, throughout the day? What has it been doing? So the time that you're getting there, if mostly there's a rule called the 1, 2, 3 rule. So if weather is what did they say? If 1 hour before and 1 hour after, if the weather is below 2,000 foot ceilings, 3 statute miles of visibility, then you need to designate an alternate for that flight, right? So most of the times it's a case situation. If weather is like, let's say it's like 2,500, right? Or 2,100. I'll guess that I need to put a precautionary alternate just in case that weather drops to 2,000 or below 2,000, and now we need an alternate. Or you can just buy fuel. Just make sure the aircraft has sufficient fuel in case that happens. Then you will be able to assign an alternate prior to them shooting their approach. So then you also have to look at no times. What are the no times? How is the aerodrome? What are the obstacles that the crew have to meet? No times are extremely important. Is the airport, are the runways contaminated? What is the braking action? Winter time, that affects you a lot. What is the braking action? MU values. Every airport has got charts that will tell you acceptable braking actions that the aircraft can land. So in winter times, you have nil, poor, medium, and good braking action, right? Hopefully I'm not missing anything else. So depending on your operation specifications for that particular company that you're working with, you have to look at all that. And if that is affecting your aerodrome, then you might need an alternate. And you also have to always contact flight service station, or you have to talk to tower to see what are the reported braking actions. And you have to look at you also have to monitor the ERTIs for that aerodrome to see what are they saying, what is going on over there. So there's a lot. Like I'm probably missing some, and I know I am, because there is a lot. This is just a snip of what goes on when you're launching a flight, right? So going back, destination, when you send the paperwork to the crew has to take a look at the paperwork, and the crew has to accept and assign the paperwork to say, okay, we concur, we agree with your plan, and I think we are going to fly your plan, right? Or the crew can say, no, I don't agree with it, because you and the pilot as a flight dispatcher, you have what is called operational control. You guys can launch a flight, can terminate a flight. If you think the flight is not going to operate with safety at all, you both can agree to say, nope, we are not going, and there's nothing the company can do. You will not get fired. The only thing is the company want to know your reasoning. Why are you not launching the flight? Because they're looking at money, right? When you kill a flight, meaning when you don't launch a flight, right? When you cancel a flight, it costs the company money, because now they have to, it causes a whole lot of havoc. But these are things that you should expect in aviation, because weather is a major factor. So it will always affect you regardless. But you just have to have reasoning, and the captain can back you up. And the captain mostly, let me tell you, if the dispatcher says, I don't feel comfortable launching this flight, I bet you 99.9% the captain is not going to fly that flight. Because he's going to look at what is dispatch looking that I'm missing, because both of you are eyes, and you're both launching a flight with passengers, right? And you have to agree, you both have to be on the same page to say this aircraft is going to be launched with safety as an number one priority. I'll give you an example. I launch flights to South America, Lima, Peru, Costa Rica, Cancun, all over South America, right? And that area has got what is called the Ring of Fire, and it's littered with volcanic activities. It's the volcanoes out there that just blow up every time. It's like unexpectedly, boom, there's a volcanic activity. Now, launching flights over there, it's international one, rules differ, and you don't want to launch an aircraft where you can launch even if there is volcanic activity, but in your operation specifications, there are rules and regulations that you have to follow. So let's just give an example. There's a volcano in our route going to Lima, and it's at volcanic ash is at flight level 350, and it's covering a large area that deviating around that way is going to be impossible, right? Or you can deviate it. If you cannot deviate around that way, then you cannot climb higher, and the volcanic ash is still going up higher to higher altitudes. It might be a safety hazard, right? And you might not want to launch your flight over there. If you can deviate around it, if you can be able to carry fuel to deviate around it, then that's fine. Now, let's give another example. If there's a volcanic activity close to the aerodrome in South America, right, close to the airport that you're supposed to land at, if there is a volcanic activity over that side, and you're looking at a current focus for that station and the TAF, and in your current surface analysis, which is the main body, the current surface analysis, it says volcanic ash in there, I'm not sending that flight, because I don't want to launch a flight to where there's volcanic activity. And I'll explain that in my future video as to why that is extremely not acceptable, right? And the crew will tell you. During the day, most pilots will say, okay, where's the volcano? And they'll tell you, can we deviate over it? Yes. Okay, yeah, we could fly. We will probably be able to see ash, and we will avoid it. At night, it's hard for you to see where ash is. So you don't want to send the crew, because they're flying blind. You don't have onboard systems in airplanes that can detect ash. You will realize you're in ash when you're already in it. Like, oh, I'm in ash. You don't want to do that. That's not acceptable. So if there is volcanic ash in the main body, in the current surface analysis for that destination, and I know probably this stuff that I'm talking about is more advanced for most people, and I'll break these things down as we go on. If you guys shoot questions to me to say, what do you mean when you say this, right? So Yes, if there's volcanic ash, I'm not sending that aircraft. Let's take a look at the aircraft here, make sure everything else is performing good, engines are good, everything else is looking good so far. If I can click, always do that, post check, make sure everything else is looking good, engines. Let me zoom in here for a minute so you guys can see what I'm doing. Fuel, we are looking good. I don't see any issue. So I think we'll just go back to engines here and monitor that. So we are looking good. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. So yeah, you do not want to send your aircraft where there's volcanic ash. It's not a good thing. And again, I'll explain why and probably show you guys videos in one of my future flights that I'll do here. But yeah, so you have to do with all that. You have to be familiar with manuals, for your company manuals. You have to go back and read them time and time again because they constantly change, and the amount of data that is thrown at you in aviation is just staggering. It's a lot, but at the same time, enjoy it because you're learning something new about aviation each and every day. You're ingesting information that a lot of people will never get to understand in their whole entire lifetime, and that goes with any other job, right? But I'm telling you, aviation, once you go through that rabbit hole, there is no coming back from it. Now, let's talk about the benefits here for a second before I continue talking all things flight dispatch. Benefits are absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. It's like you do get privileges to jump seat in the flight deck. I had the privilege of jump seating to so many countries, right? So you go to I did Bogota, which is one of my favorite one, you know. So you can pretty much jump seat in most airlines because you hold a dispatcher's license and you are in the CAS system, so airliners can be able to recognize you with all your credentials, right? So it's really amazing. It's amazing. I cannot stress that enough. Benefits in aviation are just amazing. You get body passes for your family members, and United wherever you feel like it. You can fly and go anywhere in the world at your will. Right now, I'm not kidding. Right now, I can decide to say I want to go to Atlanta. I'll just get clothes, look at the flight that is leaving out of Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta, and I'll go and get on it. And sometimes I might be unlucky, you know, I might not get on the flight, but hey, it's free. I'm not paying anything else, right? As so there are great benefits to aviation and to being a flight dispatcher. Let's double check here, make sure all things are looking good. We have 350. What's this that we have? Okay, we still have time, so it's looking beautiful outside. Let's do an external camera here one more time and see. Ooh, look at how beautiful that is. Ah, man, I mean, look at that with the contrails. I'll leave it right there. That looks absolutely fantastic, man. So yeah, and right now, by the way, guys, we're flying over the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is really, these are called Q routes. So we are on a Q route right now over the Gulf of Mexico. But the Gulf of Mexico, for you guys, Flightsim wise, I mean, again, this is not for real life. What I'm saying here is specifically for Flightsim, right? So the Gulf of Mexico has so many restrictions. You know, you have to be aware when you dispatch your flights over the Gulf of Mexico because you have more as military operating areas that you have to avoid at all costs because they are active most of the times. So you want to comply with that. You don't want to bust that because you will get in trouble. And pilots are aware of that too, so they avoid that at all costs. And I don't think you can deliberately fly through the MOAs. The air traffic control will not let you do that because they know the MOAs are active, and then they'll probably change your route a little bit and take you somewhere else. Number one, guys, let me turn the AC, man. It's really hot in here. And at the same time, I want to cool the Let me let you enjoy this view for a second. BRB one more time. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's go inside the flight deck and see where we are at. We don't, okay, we're still far away, but let's, we'll keep the cockpit dark for now. I was going to light it up. It's getting darker, so let's go ahead and get some lights on the overhead. So going back to all things dispatch. So there are, how can I explain this? There are so many things that go on, right? So not each and every day is going to be cake for you. I mean, the days that you're going to be extremely stressed, it's just like any other job, because you might send a flight plan to the crew. The crew will review the flight plan and they'll call you. You don't want to be that dispatcher that get phone calls from crew all the time. So your job is to keep them at bay, right? Satisfy the crew, not all the times. You have to follow company policy. So what I mean when I say satisfy the crew, let me just give an example, right? So you did cut paperwork and you did send that to the crew. The crew takes a look at paperwork and there's something that is wrong with the paperwork. For instance, you didn't take a look at the NOTAMs and now you are sending them somewhere where the airport is either closed, it's NOTAM closed, like that's not a good thing. And the procedures that you have to follow, you fill up ASAPs, and I'll talk about these in my future flights. Or safety reports if you did miss something critical that will affect the flight, right? So you don't want to be that dispatcher that's going to be getting phone calls time and time again from crew. You want to make sure you have trust. In aviation, there's one thing that I always say, that you cannot lie in aviation because they will find out. And the reason why I know about that is because I did a jump seat with crew. I think I did a jump seat from Fort Lauderdale to New York LaGuardia, and it was a beautiful day. We were having fun, and the crew were asking me questions, and I was answering questions. We were talking, we were having a good time, and coming back, I did a round trip, same day. Coming back, same crew, we are talking, we're having fun, and they asked me a question about dispatch, and I'm telling them what goes on, and then at the same time I asked them questions, and they're telling me what goes on, and after we landed, I was like, thank you so much for everything else. I'm like, one thing that I can learn from you before I go is, like, let me tell you one thing. When you're in aviation, you cannot lie, man, because they will find out, which is absolutely true. You want to be 100, I'm not even kidding. You want to be 100% honest in aviation, because your lie can cost people's lives, and you don't want to do that. So I'll give an example, right? Like when you're talking to the crew and you're telling them about weather, right? You want to tell them the truth. If there's weather 80 nautical miles away, 100 nautical miles away, the crew can see it. On board weather radar systems will show them that, right? And they want to know what is going on up there. So you want to tell them the truth. Say, listen, guys, let's avoid this by all means. It's not looking good over there. You are looking at what other airplanes are doing. You don't want to follow that really, and sometimes you do if those aircraft report that area, everything else is good, but you also need to follow your company policy, your company op specs, right? But be honest. Just tell them, listen, guys, let's avoid that by all means. If you made a mistake, accept that you made a mistake, and move on, right? But do not lie. So just tell the crew the truth when you become a dispatcher. Tell them the truth. Hey, listen, guys, there's weather 80 nautical miles away just developed over there. These are cells, weather cells that are high. They're going all the way up to 60,000 feet. And we guys, there's so much hail activity, lightning, and all these other things that are not good. You know, we need to avoid this by all means. And the crew will appreciate that because they know you are not just sending them out there, right? So you're telling them the truth. And same applies to the crew. They will always tell you the truth. But going back to getting a phone call from a crew, so crew can tell, they will call you to say, hey, so I was looking at the flight plan. It looks like it's taking us through weather. What was your thought process here? We want to know what you were thinking. So you want to be confident. That's another thing. When you're talking to flight crew, you want to be confident. You want to be confident to let them know that I know what I'm doing. They want to know that you know what you're doing, that you're not just sending them out there, but you know what you're doing. So for instance, let's say a crew called me, hey Rio, this is Captain Joe, so how you doing, man? I'm doing good, Captain. How are you? We're doing good. We just taking a look at this flight plan here. Seems like there's weather over Houston, and looks like our route is taking us over that weather. What is your thought process? I want to see. Do we have sufficient fuel on board to be able to deviate around those thunderstorms? You want to talk to them with confidence, like, yeah, Captain. When I was when I planned this flight, I did take a look at those thunderstorms, and they are not high. They are at flight level 330. Our final cruise altitude is going to be flight level 370, so we'll be above those thunderstorms. And at the same time, I did give you extra fuel for deviation purposes, just in case we deviate. And if we do deviate, I don't think it's going to be a big deviation. I think we'll deviate 5 miles to the east, or north, or west, or south. And then after that, we'll go back and maintain our planned route. And that way, that right now, from what I was looking at, maximum tops, as I said, they are at flight level 330, and they're tracking east at 25 knots with convective activity, or with no convective activity, just precip, short term for precipitation, right? So precip. So I don't think it will affect us at all. We do have sufficient fuel. Take a look at the flight plan again. If you think we need a little bit of fuel, that's absolutely fine, but I don't think we need any more fuel. I think we'll be just fine. You see what I'm saying? Not really like that, but I'm just saying with the confidence to let the crew know that you know what you're doing. And most of the times you hear the crew's like, oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base with you to see what you're looking at. Okay, once again, Rio, thank you, man. I'll keep an eye for us, and we'll talk to you later. Yeah, Captain, I'll keep an eye out, and I'll talk to you guys en route. Have a wonderful flight. Good day for now. Good day, Rio. Talk to you later. Bye. See? But when you're like, you know what, Captain? Let me take a look at this one more time. So listen, I was thinking, no, the crew is going to be like, oh, he does not, oh, she does not know what these guys don't know what they're talking about. The crew will be like, listen, I don't like that route. I want you to change that route. Because you don't have the confidence. And true, indeed, you don't want to take him through thunderstorms. If the crew is saying, no, that is not good, don't sit down on the phone and argue with the crew throughout. Just let the crew know. It's like, okay, Captain, I understand your concern here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the route, and I'll pull the strip from air traffic control, and then I will refile. So it puts a little bit of weight on you, but at the same time, you are a babysitter. You're babysitting pilots, and you want to make sure you are not sending them towards weather. But at the same time, sometimes pilots just complain over things that don't make any sense, right? But at this point, you just want to be like, okay, let's solve the problem. You have to replan the flight, put a different route that is taking them away from weather, and at this point, you might use cost index 99 to expedite, just because you're looking at crew time issues and you're looking at all these things, right? You change the route, but after you change the route, it doesn't stop there. So you have to call air traffic control, TMU, or flight data. Let them know this is Rio from this airline, and I'm calling to pull the strip for whatever the call sign for that airline is, flight 1772, and we will refile. And flight data will be like, okay, so you want to pull that strip? Yes, you confirm, and they'll say, okay, we'll pull the strip up and file after a few minutes, right? So you pull the strip, you put the new route, you file, you calculate everything else, you send the paper to the crew. Guess what? He's happy now. you know, he's happy, and it doesn't stop over. It doesn't stop there. You have to keep an eye en route to make sure that everything else is good for them, right? So again, that's just a small snippet of what goes on. It doesn't stop right there. There's just all these beautiful. There's so much communication in aviation that you are constantly. Sometimes you just chill, relax, and just, you know, it's a 10 and clear day all over the United States of America. No thunderstorms to worry about, nothing, and you just have a beautiful VFR day, and you just, you know, send paperwork with safety, of course, and you just sit back and you don't have too much wake. But on times when there's thunderstorms or winter operations, oh my God, I mean, it gets crazy in a good way though. Sometimes in a bad way. Let me not lie, right? But yeah, so that's just a little bit of what goes on as far as the flight dispatcher sending paperwork to the crew, and what the flight dispatcher is supposed to look at to execute the flight with safety. Yeah, let's take a look at the flight one more time. I think we need more lighting. We might have the dome light. Let's brighten this up a little bit more. All right, how far are we? It's too far ways. And we can see land. Can you guys see the horizon over there? You can see that we're getting close, and you can see the lights. As far as here, we're over the Gulf of Mexico, so there's nothing really to see. Let's try to go outside one more time, see if we can catch a good view. How about we do that? Oh yeah, this is a beautiful sunset. Now we're in night ops over the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see Florida up ahead over there. Looking good, looking good. So yeah, you guys feel free to shoot me questions, and again, don't forget to go watch my previous flight from San Francisco, California to Las Vegas, Nevada. It was a beautiful flight, at least I think so. And again, I haven't been doing Flightsim for a very long period of time, so I'm just getting back into this. So I'm training as well to make sure I'm executing everything else, you know, right. So a dispatcher also has to comply with federal aviation regulations, which are called regs, FARs. Like, you don't want to pass those. The FAA will take your license away. And each and every flight that you initiate, you have to make sure you're complying with regs. You do not want to pass regs. If you do, file an ASAP report on yourself to say, I made a mistake, this is what I did, and so on and so forth. And again, we'll talk about ASAPs and all the other things, future flights, but you want to comply with those. There's a DOT when you're on a tarmac. You want to comply with DOT. They're setting their rules and regulations also that you have to comply with. If your aircraft has been out for a certain period of time, you have to bring it back to the gate because you don't want it to go over the DOT tarmac rules. So you have to know those. You have to get familiar with your crew. You don't want to create enmity with crews. Like, crews, sometimes they'll call you, they're just upset for whatever reason. Again, your job is a babysitter. You want to calm down the crew, and sometimes it'll piss you off because you know they are wrong, right? But you want to calm them down because they'll be flying people. You want to calm them down. If you have an issue, the crew is not coming down, then just tell your manager, like, listen, this guy here is, you know, I cannot agree with him. Can you talk to him? You know, sometimes there's just crew that have been working for that airliner for a very long period of time, and they think they know everything, which is a very bad thing to do in aviation. And I'll tell you a story. Everybody in aviation matters as far as safety is concerned, right? I remember when I was working on the ramp, and I'm not going to say what airliner that was, but we pushed an MD-80. We pushed it out of the gate, and after we disconnected the tow bar, I noticed, was it me? No, I don't want to lie. Was it me? Or yeah, no. Somebody noticed that it was leaking hydraulic fluid, and after we pushed it, and he's beginning to taxi, and they came to tell me, And I went to operations and I called tower to say, please tell flight so not to take off. They need to come back to the gate. I think they have hydraulic fluid leak. Listen, the captain came back. He called operation mad. He comes back. He's like, what is going on? We're like, well, you left all this trail of hydraulic fluid and we've never seen this. It seems like the aircraft is leaking hydraulic really bad. You guys, if you get me to shut down the engines and get out of here and there's no problem, you are going to get me upset and somebody's going to get in trouble. Guess what? He parks the plane. He gets out. He looks at the hydraulic fluid. He's like, oh my God, yes, we have a major hydraulic leak. Maintenance came over there, they looked at the gear where the hydraulic fluid was coming from. They're like, oh, this is bad. This aircraft is not going anywhere. And they told him that if you had taken off, you probably would have not retracted this gear in Atlanta. You would have been in very bad position. And now he came to apologize to us, and he's like, I was being rude. I apologize, guys. Thank you for catching that. So you see, a ramp agent is extremely important to the safety of the aircraft as well, because they say if you see something, say something, right? That goes across the board. Like, you don't want to be that idiot that jeopardizes safety, man. I mean, times and times again things happen, but not like, for me, knock on wood, you knock on wood, you don't want to go through that scenario. You want to avoid that at all costs. So every person in aviation is extremely important. So turbulence en route is another hazard that affects flights. You want to avoid that. If it's like light chap, crew will tell you, they'll shoot an ACAS to you and tell you, hey, we are at flight level 340 here, we are passing through light chap, but everything else is good. Do you know any other flight levels that we might consider taking? And you look at your air mates, SIG mates, all that stuff, to see where the turbulence is, and pilot reports to see where it is, and you dispatch that information to the crew en route again. But sometimes you might have pilots that tell you, like a Boeing 777 says, we just passed through this area in extreme turbulence. If a Boeing 777 says there's extreme turbulence over there, avoid that place by all means if you're a smaller airplane. And even if you're another 777, avoid that place by all means, because turbulence is not a good friend to airplanes. It's not to people, to anything. You want to avoid that at all costs. Be vigilant, like keep an eye out, make sure you're watching, because sometimes in the OCC or SOC, we tend to just sit down and start chit-chatting, right? Leave your desk for a minute, you come back, you take a look at your flights, you go talk to your friend, you come back, you take a look at your flights. But your number one priority in the OCC or SOC should be monitoring flights once you launch them, or those flights that have been passed down to you. You have to constantly keep an eye and make sure you're giving crew information that they want. You don't want to be that idiot that just completely abandon the post and then go and chit chat all day. No, that's not going to work, man. Alright guys, so it looks like we're looking good. Let's increase the range here. And then I want to take a look at the charts for a second. Let's see what we have. And we said, let's brief this because things are getting crazy really fast here. I did turn the ATC off. Next time I think I'll keep the ATC throughout, so you guys can listen to what goes on in route, handouts, and so on and so forth. But I did turn it on because I wanted to talk to you. So I'll figure out how I can talk to you and you guys listen to air traffic control at the same time. Matter of fact, I'll try to do that now, but since we were talking, I wanted to keep that going on. Let's see. So weather in Fort Lauderdale still looks good, 10-30 miles. We do have thunderstorms, so hopefully they're not going to affect us. Now let's go back to the flight plan. We expect to take the Tiki-1 RNAV. So we're supposed to cross Bell at 330. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. And we'll brief the approach here in a second, but we gotta enter data, and the MCDU is telling us to do so because we are a little bit late. So looking back, QNH is 2987. So we go. Let me zoom in. 2987. We input that. Temperature is 29. It's hot. 29. Winds 120 at 08 /08. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet. 250 goes on the radio. Okay, we are good on that. We are descending to 330, so 33 blue, 33 blue. All right, briefing the approach. We are doing the Tiki-1 RNAV into Fort Lauderdale runway 10 left. And we're coming in the Bell over here, Sable, Figna, Jasper, and we'll comply with all these constraints all the way in to runway 10 left. So let's see, let's localize runway 10 left. Let me pin that. So looking at runway 10 left, our final approach fix is going to be at 1,800 at Nova. We're going to pass that at Nova, 1,800. Solid concrete runway. We're expecting a few thunderstorms. Hopefully they're not going to affect us at all. Minimum's 200.5. We have that set. And missed approach procedure, climb to 800, then climb left turn to 4,000 on Fort Lauderdale VOR radio 090 outbound to Mats. Intel. Jamie 9.2 Fort Lauderdale end hold. Continue climbing hold to 4,000. Okay, so that is being addressed. We have minimums. We have a final approach fix, and start at 3 degrees glide slope. We are looking good. I'll be the pilot flying, so I'm landing this jet. Let's take a look outside for a minute, man. Let's take a look at nighttime. There is Florida. We're entering Florida right now. We are exiting the Gulf of Mexico. I think I'll do a flight. I will do a day flight where you guys can be able to see the Gulf of Mexico really well. I mean, there's nothing to see apart from water, right? And then you see land far ways, but we will definitely do that. So that is taken care of. As far as taxi, runway 10 left, we will exit Bravo 7 or Bravo 8, and then we will go to the gate. No expected ground delay programs in Fort Lauderdale as of now, so we are also looking good on that. So let's go back to all right, so after Bill, we are going. Let's see, I can barely see far ahead. Just 1 second, Tiki. Okay, we have to close Tiki at 12,000. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead. All the points here are missing. I'll go ahead and input 12,000 here, and we'll start initiating our descent here shortly. Let's put it at 12 blue. We are landing with auto brakes low. All All right, we'll start descending right here. I want to do this early. We don't want to mess this up. We had a good talk. We didn't finish talking about dispatch, by the way. I think I'll be talking about this for a long time, man. My next flight that comes up, I think we'll talk about dispatch, but with other things not related to dispatch. So I'm trying to create a picture here. I'll talk about ramp as well. I'll talk about gate. I'll talk about pilots. I'll talk about everything. So yeah, you should expect good talk, man. So Tiki, we have to close that at 12,000. Do we need to expedite? I think we are good. Yeah, I will just let the aircraft do its thing. All right, so terrain is not a factor. We shouldn't worry about that. No ground delay programs, we've already addressed that. We will be doing an approach checklist here shortly, but as of now, I think we are looking good. What do you think, guys? There's nothing really to see, so you know, we will see things just the way pilots would in real life. And I'm always rushing on charts. Next time I want to take time. Like I want to start breaking these charts down for you guys. I mean, there's just enough too much information on charts that it's hard for people to be able to dissect everything, right? But you look at the main things that you want to look at and make sure you're also complying with air traffic control constraints, speed restrictions, and so on and so forth. For example, we are supposed to be at prior to Tiki, we're supposed to be at 280, so I will be inputting 280 here shortly. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take control of speed just so we can see, you know, as a reminder that we need to control that. So it's matter of fact, yeah, 280. So we'll shave off 8 knots here shortly. So I'd say let's go to 200 here for a second, because the aircraft is doing a good, I mean, descending really well on profile, but I'm looking at the chart, so we are thinking charts for 270, 260, so we have to, let's stop at 200 for a second here, and then I want to increase the range. Yeah, guys, I know you. Some of you guys probably are waiting for me to start live streams, and again, soon here I will be live streaming.
Sierra 900 Charlie Whiskey, my approach, local number is 29890.
66537 is with you at 5000 hotel.
Is that 537, my approach, roger. United 1451, contact Miami Center 135.17. Good. Missouri Charlie Whiskey, contact Miami approach on, actually, are you on a heading? Sierra Charlie Whiskey, Sierra Charlie Whiskey, thank you. Contact Miami approach 120.5.
20.5.
Figure 537, turn left heading 360.
360, Figure 537.
Alright guys, I'm quiet here for a second because I'm just paying attention to the profile for a second, make sure we comply with that 12 right there. So just enjoy air traffic control. Let's go back and put it.
Figure 537, turn left heading 330. Day 76, my departure at contact, maintain 5000.
I think we did an early descent, and again, you guys know me, without the turbo descent here, the fly-by-wire, I always like to do my descent early. I did not even get the calculator, calculate the descent rate, calculate turbo descent, but I think we are good as long as we comply with the restrictions up ahead of us. As you can see, Tiki 12,000. If we can,
76, turn left heading 350.
if we can pass that, would be good. But so far, we have weather radar on. I don't see thunderstorms. It's in the vicinity, but we should be good. We should be good, guys. Cumulonimbus in the area, you want to avoid that at all cost. Avoid cumulonimbus if you don't want to fly into that stuff. Trust me. Again, guys, I'm not a real world pirate, but
Figure 537, contact Palm Beach Approach 15.2.
see, you always stop when air traffic control is talking, because they could be calling you and you want to comply with what they're telling you. So let's start going down to 12 here. Things will get hectic soon. Why don't we take the seatbelt sign on? And I want to do the dome so we can be able to see what is going on.
United 876, turn left heading 310, cover maintain 900,000.
310, 900,000, yes, please, okay.
All right, I see 18 coming, and current QNH, you hit air traffic control is 29887, and I'll go ahead and input that 29887 set. This one, of course, double cross check 29887 on the Air Force side as well.
Number 675 Kilo, my departure, roger.
She is doing.
United 1073, my departure to contact on maintain 5,000. Number 5 Kilo, cover maintain 10,000.
10,000.
Exit 537.
We're going to Flightsim, guys. I just reinstated everything else Flightsim wise, so I'm ready to go. And I was just double checking this airplane, make sure it's performing well before we take it on Flightsim. And great airplanes coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, so expect that we will be flying lots of jets on here, lots of them. I want to also fly GA, general aviation airplanes, man. I want to do that. So I want this channel to be open. Everybody else to come on here and
MD 76, turn left heading 2909. United 1073, traffic 9 o'clock and 1 mile southwest on 737 at 6,000.
F415 Sierra Lima is with you just out of 4,500 for 10, correction 7.
Citation 415 Charlie Lima, approach. Thank you. United 1073, traffic no factor, climb, maintain 10,000, go freight through 7,000. Number 10 Victor Kilo, proceed direct to Manolo. Number 5 Charlie Lima, now to maintain 6,000 each here.
Who's that for? Yeah, who is that for?
Number 5 Charlie, disregard your 836, maintain 7.
Alright, 6,200 for 7, Sierra Lima. JetBlue 2170, 1.6 for 4,000. Departure, JetBlue 2170, 1.8,000.
JetBlue 2170, Miami departure to contact, climb to maintain 5,000.
Coming to 5,000, JetBlue 2170.
Jet 537, Palm Beach approach on 125.2, 25.2. The 5 Victor Kilo, contact Miami Center 133.4.
Alright, you guys think this is busy? It gets busy, where you have to be on your P's and Q's, especially when there's weather, air traffic control instructions, you have to comply ASAP. And you also want to be brief. You don't want to cover the radio, and you don't want to cover the radio with your mouth. Like, you want to be brief. Just say things.
1073, maintain 13,000, direct to Marino.
You want to say things that you need to say and get out. Let somebody else transmit. Increase the range here, so we up.
2170 traffic, 11 o'clock, 4 miles, turning westbound, 6,000, Airbus 321.
Yes, we are coming in, better watch out.
United 1073, contact Miami Center 3245, take care. So, we're doing good, guys. So far, we're doing good.
We should be landing the aircraft here shortly. We already did the briefing. We will maintain the rest soon here.
Kmsy-Kfll 876, climb and maintain 11,000.
11,000, Kmsy 876.
55856, Miami approach, descend your discretion, maintain VFR, 8 is Quebec. Kmsy 876, when you're able, direct to Jones. Do you have landing flight plans?
Jones, I do not see that. No,
How about Hurricane? Do you have Hurricane? Kmsy 876, proceed direct to Hurricane.
Hurricane, Kmsy 876.
5 Sierra Lima, climb and maintain 9,000.
9,000 Sierra Lima needs 5 to the right.
5 Sierra Lima, approved as requested, direct to Moreno when you're able.
Direct to Marino when able, Sierra.
W2170, climb and maintain 10, 10,000.
21 for 10,000, W2170.
So 59, 1.5 to 4,000, how you doing?
That is 5019 Miami departure. Good afternoon, radar contact, climb and maintain 5,000.
I'll maintain 5,000, that's 59.
All right, we're going to start initiating later.
Definitely 2170. We're going to need a right turn on 34 arm.
11 blue.
W2170, 2170, right. You can expect over the senator to give anybody turn 1.
Definitely 2170.
Number 5 Sierra Lima, maintain 12,000.
12,000 Sierra Lima.
All right, landing system go on.
876, maintain 13,000.
13,000, not Kmsy 876.
W2170, maintain 13,13,000.
1313,000, W2170.
That is 5019, traffic 12 o'clock, 7 miles opposite direction, Airbus 320, 7,500, descending to 6,000.
Yeah, but 5019.
However, speed restriction, we need to comply with that 2509. So let's go and put that in. We have 250 here, so we're looking good. Let's increase the range so we can see that. Yeah, 250 knots. We have to cross that at or below. We are good. What's our next one? Sorry about that. Let me do this to see our next one. It's going to be 7. We will go ahead and input 7 here. Once we hit this, we are going to 7. Beautiful approach. Nothing to see yet outside, but the beautiful aircraft here, the Airbus A32NX Flybywire. Beautiful airplane, man. Beautiful Airbus. All right, we see Fort Lauderdale right ahead of us. Right, we're gonna go ahead and go to 7 and we will start reducing speed. Let's go to 200 so we can start setting up flaps, maintain lift so we don't drop from the skies. No. In 10,000, let's see that we'll go ahead and initiate landing lights here. Landing lights on and wing light goes on. All right, we'll do the approach checklist, guys. Approach checklist briefing has been completed. Approach stable by 1,000 feet. ECAM status has been checked. CPO signs are on. Minimums 250. Set engine and tires 1 and 2 are off. And altimeters 29987 set. Approach checklist is completed. We are looking good, guys. Let me zoom up ahead to see how far we are. So, okay. So are we descending here? We need to expedite. All right, we're going to use speed brakes. So I'm using speed brakes out the control. You can see I brought them all the way full, so we can expedite our descent here because we have to cross this at 8. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and use vertical speed as well. Yeah, it's not descending as fast as I wanted to, so we're gonna expedite, but we're good. Next one is gonna be 5, so we'll probably just go ahead and put the next one here, 5. Oh, speed, we have to check speed. We are going flaps 1. Speed restrictions. I wasn't even paying attention to that. That will help us to slow down actually. And I need flaps 2, speed check flaps 2. Don't overspeed the aircraft, please don't bail me. Let's go to 190. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. It threw me off. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Crease, I want to be able to see. So our next at Holy, we have to cross that at 5,000. Looks like we will comply with that. And as far as speed, I think we are okay. Flaps, I think we are good for now. Fort Lauderdale looks beautiful up ahead. I was a little bit late on flaps extension here. So we're still using speed brakes, as you can see. And matter of fact, I'll probably bring him down here, bring him up. I think we'll meet the constraints, so let's bring those up. And as you can see, they're up now. I'm using controls once again, so if you guys want me to click my next flight to show you using the mouse, I will be able to do that, but I have Airbus controls here that I'm using. That's why you guys cannot see what I'm doing, but I'll do my best to make sure I'm showing you guys what I'm doing for those of you who are not familiar with this aircraft. Alright, looking good. I think we will comply here probably. Let's see. We need to expedite a little bit. Let's expedite a little bit to 5. How about that? Nothing to look at outside. We are a little bit not bad really on our profile. I wanted to execute this with precision, like, but this doesn't happen even in real life because you're dealing with winds, cross winds, you're dealing with everything else. But you know, you have to comply with this, and I think we'll comply with Holy. And then after that, we're going to Hara at 3,000. So look at Fort Lauderdale, man. Oh my goodness, looks beautiful. We probably are going to be lucky to see the guitar, the Hard Rock Guitar Hotel. It's really beautiful. Probably after we land, if I've never shown you guys my previous videos, I will show it to you, online pictures, so you guys can see it. It's the most beautiful building in the world as far as I'm concerned. You know, somebody else might say, nah, that's not true. You know, but it is absolutely amazing. Okay, we need to go to 3 now. Alright. What was the aircraft doing here? There we go. I was messing up the aircraft here for a second. It's like, what is going on? What am I doing? So 3,000. What's our VAP? We didn't check that, by the way. Let's go to perf page. 121. Okay. Yeah, we passed that, man. What happened? For whatever reason, like the aircraft started there's something that I did probably. I don't know what I did, but all right, let's slow down to 180. If it starts acting up, I'm going to take control of the aircraft. I'm going to land it manual. We can do a visual approach. It looks really beautiful out there. And let's hope we will comply with Hara. Is it Hara or Walla? Walla? Walia? Walla? Oh, I know why. I did accidentally click the heading. That's why the aircraft was getting out of profile. I now know. I was like, what is going on? So you see, this is the problem right here. You have speed and heading over here. You gotta be careful because you don't want to. The aircraft was trying to figure out like, okay, you want me to go this heading, and therefore it started going towards that direction. So we have the field in sight up ahead. We will reduce speed again. And we'll go flaps 3. Speed has been checked, flaps 3. We're getting back on profile, so we are good. 10 left, remember. Yeah, I accidentally clicked the heading bag. That is a problem. It's also like, why is the aircraft doing this? I thought I was doing speed while I was telling the aircraft to go somewhere else. So the aircraft got on profile, disconnected everything. It's like, okay, he wants that. He want me. This is the reason why you always have to be ahead of the aircraft. Like, always monitor the aircraft, and that's the reason why I was a little bit quiet, because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was. Let's go ahead and approach here. We'll go ahead. And perf will activate the approach, confirm that, and we are not far ways. We'll be dropping the gear here shortly.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
All right, cabin crew has been advised. We are looking good. We are looking good. Look at that, man. All right, we're gonna go gear down. Let's do 122. And we are on profile. Let's not forget. Ooh, yeah. Let's not forget to arm the spoilers here. Completely forgot before we can check the view. Alright, let's go back in. We don't want to miss the landing at the last minute. Alright, we're gonna go flaps full here. Speed has been checked, flaps are full, everything else is looking good. Okay, landing checklist. Cabin crew has been advised: auto thrust, speed, auto brakes low, ICA memo, landing all green, gear is down, signs are on and auto, ground spoilers are armed, flaps config full. Landing checklist is completed, guys. We are ready to land the bird. Looking for Lauderdale. For Lauderdale. This is South Florida, man. This is beautiful city. All right. right, let's pay attention. So thunderstorms is too far away from us. Good, did not affect us, as we said. If you look to my right over here, you see the guitar where my cursor is. That's the hard rock guitar. It is one of the most beautiful. It changes colors. It's absolutely amazing. But let's concentrate here. We exit, remember, Bravo 8 or Bravo 8 or Bravo 9, right? Yeah.
1000.
I'll let it ride for a second here before I take it off autopilot. Alright, it's my aircraft. Let's make sure we maintain glide slope and lock.
$500. 400. 100 above. 300. Minimum.
Landing.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Woo! We're on the ground, a little bit smash, but hey guys, we are in Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, guys. So I need to pay attention on my taxi yells. What was I doing? Let's see. Oh, we just missed Bravo, so we're gonna take probably the next one right here. All right, guys, I'll stop the aircraft right here. Park break goes on. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, guys. We'll do the after landing checklist, cabin crew. No. After landing checklist, exterior lights. Let's take care of that. Exterior lights off. We'll go taxi here. It goes on. Strobes go off. We'll leave wing right on. Why not? So exterior lights off. Flaps. I'm doing this so I can show you guys what I'm doing. Flaps are retracted. Take a standby. Take this in standby. Engine mode selector is normal. Ground spoilers, we're gonna disarm ground spoilers right here. And radar, we're gonna turn radar off. In PWA, so those go off after landing checklist is completed. So let's just clean the aircraft right quick while we're here waiting for our gate. VORs off. Same thing with Air4 side. VORs go off. Come on. There we go. Alright, we'll start APU master. 1, 2, 3, go. Alright, we'll wait for the APU here. And actually, we can go ahead and taxi to the gate. I think the aircraft is, yeah, let's just double check that. Anything else looks good. Okay, yeah, we can continue. Okay, brakes are released. Let's go to the gate. On this one, I'm not gonna really try to find gates here. We will just park. We'll find a gate up there, right ahead of us, right here. Because I see that I'm losing frame rates, so I don't want to do that as of now. Let's turn the landing lights off so we don't blind the rampers, and let's park the aircraft. Alright, I need to set my controls. Anyway, we are good, man. Parking brake goes on. We have APU here. We'll start APU bleeding. We'll go ahead and charge engine number 1. Goes off. And we'll go ahead and shut engine number 2. Transponders, let's turn those off. Oh, hold on. This comes up. I completely forgot. We'll unlock flight deck. IRs all go off. Seatbelts off. I thought when we turn off I had those off. I guess not. Beacon goes off. Wings off. And fuel pumps. Not in order, but we know what we're doing here, so that looks good. That looks good. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Oh, sorry. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where the current time right now is 1949 Zulu. Local time. Actually, no, depending on what I'm flying, I'm looking at the wrong time here. So, 8:15 local. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I enjoyed the flight. Of course, I wanted to talk to you guys about flight dispatch. And again, we didn't talk. We just talk a speck of what flight dispatch is. And again, my future flights, I'll continue this. So I'll be talking about flight dispatch. I'll talk about flight instruments. I'll talk about a whole lot of great stuff that we will have on this channel, and I'm expecting that you guys are going to be part of the Flaps 121 community. Feel free to shoot me questions, and I'll provide my email, by the way. So if you guys want to shoot me questions, and if you want me to fly certain routes or do extended route flying like transcons, and we will be able to do all that. Once good aircrafts come here on the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, we are going to have fun. I cannot wait for the Boeing 737 to get here, man. I cannot wait for that. The MT-80, I want that aircraft as well. So 777, we're looking for 747, we are looking for them all. We will have so much fun. Thank you for being part of the Flaps 121 simulations. Thanking you for flying with me from New Orleans, Louisiana to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Go and have fun. Go get a mojito at the beach or something. Great cuisine here in Fort Lauderdale. Go eat some jerk chicken somewhere. Go enjoy your life. Go have some good time. So me, I will be flying with you guys soon, and we will be doing everything. We are not going to only fly VFR 10 and clear flights. So we're going to shoot minimums where you see the runway probably at 200 feet above ground, and if you cannot see it, you execute a missed approach. We'll be doing all that. We'll shoot all types of approaches on here, and I'm expecting to have fun with you guys. Once again, thank you for being part of the Flaps 121 simulations. See you guys next time. Good day for now. Bye.